Well, we have one more short presentation. If everybody's got another 5 minutes or so. Phil has a great story that he shares with us, or has shared with us in the past, about his love affair with a 1965 Mustang, and how he found this in somewhat of a heap.
Hi.
And put it back in fully restored
Do you have something
condition.
going on in the background there?
Yeah, but I'm gonna leave it.
So,
I've gone. I'm okay now.
do we have a little reverb going on?
Now, what you might do is mute Dana's phone or her screen input. Whoever is Phil, what you might do is mute her if you have.
Okay. Dana, can you hear?
Okay, here we go. This is the story about my 65 Mustang, which I owned for 28 years. The first 5 years I was restoring it, and the next 23 years it became really a member of the family until its ending in 2014. And it had a biblical ending to the story that involved David, Moses, and Jesus. But let me get back to the story. As you saw, the car ended up red, but it originally started, it was ivy green, and it was born in September '64 in San Jose. And at that time, Ford manufactured cars in California. This is the way the car looked in '86 when it arrived. And as you can see, first off, it's blue. Why somebody painted the ivy green car blue, I have no idea. So by the time I made it red, it was the third color change for that car. Anyway, it was really a wreck. And there's my daughter, Kate, who was 12 at the time. This is '86. My son, Ron, who was 15. And there's me, and there's my friend, Frank. And this is what the front of the car looked like. So when I say it was a wreck, it was really a wreck. So the process began. And the way I did is I did a total disassembly. I took everything off and took it right down to what's called the unibody, which is that, and cleaning and restoring each part by part. And as the parts were cleaned and restored, I painted everything. And this is the bottom of the car. And the bottom of the car I painted red, the same as the outside. And wherever there was rubber parts, they got replaced. 5 years later, this is what the car looked like. And there's the interior, completely redone, new upholstery, carpets, steering wheel, everything. And a whole new redone engine, power top, and there it is with the new top. As I said, it became a member of the family, and in '91, my daughter was a senior in high school, and we were in a father-daughter car rally, and by the way, she drove. And this was a theme, and she was Audrey Hepburn from Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I was Sean Connery from Hunt for Red October. In '91, my mother-in-law turned 80, and she wanted to be pictured in the Mustang. And at the time, I was thinking, 80, boy, that's kind of old. I don't think that anymore. In '98, my daughter got married at a church just a couple blocks down the street from us, and we had the reception at our house. And so we car paraded from the church to the house. And if you look real hard behind there, you'll see there's two Thunderbirds. One of the Thunderbirds belonged to my friend, and the other one belonged to his sister. Not to be outdone, our son, Ron, when he got married in 2001, we took the Mustang down to La Jolla, and we paraded from the church to the hotel where there was a reception. Well, when you get both your kids married off, sometimes you get lucky. And Irene, that's my wife in there, and I got very lucky with 6 super grandkids, 3 from our daughter, 3 from our son. And we even used the car as a backdrop for Christmas cards, and this is one of our Christmas cards. Finally, there was the last ride in June 2014, and the 3 girls that live in Fullerton near us, we went to lunch, and this was the last ride in the car. So now the biblical end to the story. The biblical end starts with me putting the car up for sale. First, I developed a website that had all kinds of pictures and all the details on the car. And then I put it on eBay. And one of the things about eBay is it goes everywhere, including outside of the United States. So I start getting inquiries from people, and most of the inquiries were very similar. People wanted close-up pictures of like the hood or the trunk or a door. They want to see if these body parts line up. And so I start getting a bunch of those kinds of questions from somebody named David. And David is in a suburb of Monterrey, Mexico. And so I answer his just like anybody else's. And about a week later, David comes back and says, my friend Jesus is going to buy the car. Now at this point, nobody has test driven the car. Nobody's been out to even look at the car. They've just been relying on pictures. And so another week goes by, and now I get contacted by Jesus. And he's telling me that he's going to buy the car and that I'm going to get 3 separate deposits from 3 separate banks. But in order for him to arrange that, I need to supply him with the routing code for my bank and my account number on my checking account. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, this must be the scam. And I call Citibank, and Citibank says, well, people can wire money into your account, but they can't take it back out. I'm still skeptical, but I remember my wife Irene is really big on American Airlines miles, and Citibank had a promotion that if you open this certain kind of checking account, we'd get, 50,000 miles. And so I checked, and that the account was still open. It had $30 in it. So I decided, okay, I send Jesus the info on the bank account. Now at this point, he hasn't asked me about the price. I advertised it for $35,000, expecting people might offer a little less or something, and I was prepared for that, but there was no discussion. And he says, well, I'm going to buy the car. So, okay, and this money's going to come from the 3 banks, and it's going to show up the following Wednesday. So I kind of forget about it. I'm busy answering other inquiries, and it's Wednesday night, and I go, oh, gee, I wonder what's happened with my checking account. So I log into Citibank, into this checking account, and oh my gosh, there's $35,030 in the account. So I immediately transfer out the $35,000. And now I've got the $35,000, I've got the car, and I still have the pink slip, the registration. Anyway, the couple days go by and Jesus comes back and says, okay, you should have the money by now, and please send me the registration. So I do. And he comes back to me and says, okay, Moses shall come for the car, and he will come in a week on a Monday morning, and he will have a copy of this registration, and that's proof that he's the right guy to pick it up. So, okay. And the following Monday, the doorbell rings, and I look outside, and there is an 18-wheeler parked in the middle of our street, and Moses has arrived, and he says, I'm here to pick up the Mustang, and here's my registration proof. So there's Moses, and he's going to drive it up inside this car carrier, which he does. And there he's tying it down inside. And the next stop is Laredo, Texas, and he explains he's dropping it off at some kind of a customs broker who will then arrange to have the car taken into Monterrey, Mexico. And so that's bye-bye Mustang.
My goodness.
Good story.
Oh, sad story.
Oh,
That story.
that's amazing.
Beautiful.
I think that's a good story.
Okay, you guys have to unmute yourself if you're going to talk.
Yes, it's a good story.
Hey, Kramer will make you an honorary sleeper.
Ah, thanks, Milt. Milt, are you in Santa Fe?
I'm in my old house. That's right.
Okay, yeah, I go by there every day.
I mean, I
Wave.
didn't do that.
Well, swing by someday.
I will.
Please do.
Except you realize I'm in Orange County. I'm 400 miles away.
Well, I'm still in the old neighborhood, Phil.
But I do come up because I have a son living in Larkspur.